أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي ربي يسر ولا تعسر وتمم بالخير آمين يا رب العالمين.
In this lecture, we will understand Laa-e-Nafi jins, or the law of absolute negation. Let us revise how to negate jumlah ismiyah, or how to create a negative jumlah ismiyah. Zaidun salihun is a positive jumlah. It means Zaid is pious. To negate Zaidun salihun, we studied that we need to take two steps. In order to make Zaid is pious into Zaid is not pious, we need to take the following two steps. In the first step, we need to bring ma at the beginning of Zaidun Salihun. This ma will have an effect, which we will see in step 2, which is that the ma will make the khabar mansoob. So Zaidun Salihun becomes Ma Zaidun Salihan. Zaid is pious becomes Zaid is not pious. We studied that this ma made the khabar mansoob, and the terminology for this ma is ma al-hijaziyah. We also studied that in the case of ma Zaidun Salihan, Zaidun will be called the ism of ma, or ma's ism, and Salihan will be called the khabar of ma, or ma's khabar. Next, we studied how to create emphasis in a negative jumlah ismiyah. We took the example of Zaidun Salihun, Zaid is pious, and we made it negative by adding ma, and we got ma Zaidun Salihan. Please note that the khabar is becoming mansoob because of ma. Zaid is pious became Zaid is not pious. Ma Zaidun Salihan, or Zaid is not pious, does not have any emphasis in it. In order to add emphasis to Ma Zaidun Salihan, we added ba harf jar to the khabar, and we got Ma Zaidun bisalihin. Please note that Salihan is now Salihin because we added ba harf jar to the khabar. The presence of harf jar will make the ism following it majroor. That is why biswalihin is majroor because of ba harf jar. Please also note that the meaning of ba harf jar will not be used in the translation of the negative jumlah ismiyah. The presence of ba here, or the presence of ba harf jar, is only emphasizing this negative jumlah ismiyah. To summarize, adding ba harf jar to the khabar of a negative jumlah ismiyah creates emphasis in that negative jumlah ismiyah. Ma Zaidun Salihan, Zaid is not pious. Ma Zaidun bisalihin, Zaid is absolutely not pious. Zaid is not at all pious. Zaid is definitely not pious. Another way to create negation in Arabic grammar is by using la. We previously studied the role of ma in creating negation in Arabic grammar. That particular ma was called ma al-hijaziyah. Now we will study a type of la which is also used to create negation in Arabic grammar. When reading the Holy Quran, we can come across a la that is followed by an ism. This ism will have certain characteristics. Let us look at these specific characteristics of that ism. This ism following la will have the following features and the following characteristics. Number 1, the ism will be indefinite in capacity or it will be nakra. Number 2, the ism will be mansoob or it will be nasab in status. Number 3, this ism will have no tanween. Once again, when we are reading the text of the Holy Quran, we will come across a la which is followed by an ism that is nakra or indefinite incapacity. It is mansoob and it has no tanween. In Arabic grammar, such a la will be called Laa-e-Nafi jins. The terminology is Laa-e-Nafi jins, or we can call it the law of absolute negation. Let us look at some examples. Let us look at law of absolute negation or Laa-e-Nafi jins in more detail using some examples. To recall, Laa-e-Nafi jins or the law of absolute negation is used in the Arabic text. We can identify law of absolute negation or Laa-e-Nafi jins by looking at the ism that follows law of absolute negation. This ism will have the following characteristics. This ism will be indefinite incapacity or it will be nakra. This ism will be mansoob and this ism will be without tanween. Now let us look at an example from the Holy Quran. We see in the second surah, ayah 1 to 2, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Alif Lam Mim, Zalikal Kitabu La Rayba Fihi. So if we pay attention to this section of the ayah, we have La Rayba Fihi. So we see la being used in this ayah. How do we know if this is Laa-e-Nafi jins? We can focus on the ism that follows this la and look for certain characteristics. We will look at raiba in more detail and we will see that raiba is indefinite incapacity. It is nakra. Secondly, raiba is mansoob. And the third point is that raiba does not have tanween. So we see the use of la in the text, which is followed by an ism that is indefinite, mansoob, and it is without tanween. And that is indicative of this la being Laa-e-Nafi jins or the law of absolute negation. Please also note that in the case of ma, we studied that ma will have an ism of ma or ma's ism, and it will also have a khabar of ma or ma's khabar. We will have similar terminologies with Laa-e-Nafi jins or the law of absolute negation. In this example, raiba will be called the ism of Laa-e-Nafi jins or the ism of law of absolute negation. Fihi will be called the khabar of Laa-e-Nafi jins or the khabar of the law of absolute negation. We studied with ma al-hijaziyah that it is used to create negation in jumlah ismiyah. So what is the role of Laa-e-Nafi jins? What makes Laa-e-Nafi jins or the law of absolute negation different? Laa-e-Nafi jins or the law of absolute negation will completely and categorically remove its ism from its khabar. Let us look at an example to study this further. We will go back to our example from Surah Al-Baqarah, and in the second ayah we see Zalikal Kitabu La Rayba Fihi. We looked at this la in the second ayah and we called it Laa-e-Nafi jins or the law of absolute negation. We called it Laa-e-Nafi jins because it is followed by an ism raiba, which is nakra incapacity, it is mansoob, and it does not have tanween on it. In the case of la raiba fihi, raiba is the ism of Laa-e-Nafi jins. Fihi is the khabar of Laa-e-Nafi jins. So according to our definition, Laa-e-Nafi jins will completely and categorically remove its ism from its khabar. Raiba can roughly be translated to doubt, and fihi can be translated to in it, referring to the Holy Quran. So if we look at La Raiba Fihi, La is completely and categorically removing its ism, Raiba, doubt, from its khabar, Fihi, which is referring to the Holy Quran. So if we look at La Raiba Fihi more closely, Laa-e-Nafi jins, or the law of absolute negation, is being used to completely and categorically remove all forms of doubt from the Holy Quran. Laa-e-Nafi jins is being used to categorically remove all types of doubt from the Holy Quran. So if we were to look at the translation of the ayah, the literal translation will be, "This is the book about which there is no doubt, a guidance for those conscious of Allah." But if we are to bring the true essence of Laa-e-Nafi jins into the translation, we will get a meaning on the lines of, there is absolutely no doubt, there is absolutely no possibility of doubt, there is no doubt whatsoever in the Holy Quran. So by using Laa-e-Nafi jins, we are able to create that meaning of absolute negation. So instead of saying there is no doubt in the Holy Quran, using Laa-e-Nafi jins, now we can categorically say there is absolutely no possibility of any doubt in the Holy Quran. Using Laa-e-Nafi jins, or the law of absolute negation, we are completely and categorically removing any possibility of any doubt from the Holy Quran. Our next example is La ilaha illallahu. In this example, we see the use of Laa-e-Nafi jins, or law of absolute negation, at the beginning. We are calling this law of absolute negation, or Laa-e-Nafi jins, because it is followed by an ism, ilaha, which is indefinite, it is mansoob, and it does not have tanween on it. La ilaha illallahu can be translated to, except for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is no other God. Laa-e-Nafi jins, or the law of absolute negation, is creating the meaning of complete and categorical denial of any person, anything, or any other God worthy of worship except for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Another example is La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi. In this example, we see the use of Laa-e-Nafi jins on two occasions. La hawla wa la quwwata. In each case, Laa-e-Nafi jins is followed by an ism that is indefinite, mansoob, and it does not have tanween on it. In La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi, Laa-e-Nafi jins is creating the meaning of complete and categorical denial of any power, and it is creating the meaning of complete and categorical denial of any strength except with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi can be translated as, there is no power and no strength except with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Another example from the Holy Quran is from Surah number 2, Ayah number 256. We see the use of Laa-e-Nafi jins in this ayah. Laa-e-Nafi jins is followed by an ism that is mansoob, indefinite, and there is no tanween on it. The ayah can be translated as there is no compulsion in religion. And in this case, Laa-e-Nafi jins is completely and categorically denying any form of compulsion from within deen. Our final example from the Holy Quran is from Surah number 12, ayah number 92, where we see the use of La Tathriba. This law is Laa-e-Nafi jins, or the law of absolute negation, because it is followed by an ism that is indefinite, mansoob, and there is no tanween on it. This ayah is referring to Hazrat Yusuf alayhi salam, and he said, there is no blame on you today.
سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.